John 2 then tells us that 3 days after this, there was a wedding in Cana of Galilee. Jesus was there with his mother and his disciples, which at this point, again, I think sometimes we need to read slower. That would mean that he was there with Andrew, Peter, Philip, and Nathanael. It wouldn't mean that he was there with the 12 that became apostles or the 70 that got sent out. We haven't got that far yet. So he's probably there with these 4 guys and his mother, which makes more sense. During the feast, they ran out of wine. And so Mary says to Jesus, they have no wine. Jesus answered her, woman, what does this have to do with me? My hour has not yet come. First thing to note, in Jesus' day, the word woman and the way that it's used here was a term of respect. It would be like us saying ma'am. So when Jesus says it to her, when he says it to her again from the cross, when he says it to the Syrophoenician woman, when he says it to the Samaritan woman, he is being kind and respectful. Even though he has all the authority, he's being respectful to people that were often disregarded. Most men would not have referred to her as woman. They'd have spoken down to her or over her. He speaks to her. When you see Jesus use a word like that, it is an interaction. It is like we can't see it. So it's a written word telling us he locked eyes with her. He locked hearts with her. He connected to her. I think that Jesus is also, in a respectful way, telling Mary what he will tell the religious leaders in John 5:19, that he only does what he sees his Father doing. It's not that he was unconcerned with the need, but he could only be moved by the Father. And the beautiful thing about the interaction is this: Mary seems completely unoffended. In fact, I think she seems to completely understand Jesus' response. And she tells the servants at the wedding, do whatever he tells you. That statement was a statement of submission and trust. She doesn't beg Jesus. She doesn't argue with him. She doesn't try to manipulate the situation or use guilt to get her way. I believe Mary understood that Jesus was under an authority greater than hers. So she didn't push for her way, but she made sure the servants knew, if he tells you to do something, you need to do it. Not my will, but yours be done. Jesus didn't just learn that from the Father. He learned that from his parents, right? That's what we've been talking about as we've been slowly moving. He lived in submission to his parents for 30 years. He had learned obedience to the scripture. He'd learned to honor the law, to keep the law. He learned to trust the Father through his parents. And now we see that his mother trusts him as well.